All right, guys, I'm going to get started. First of all, thank you so much for attending. The point of these usability webinars is to make sure that we're sharing different features and functions of our cloud software and booking engine solution in hopes that you guys are as familiar as possible and taking advantage of all the bells and whistles as it relates to your properties and your business. The webinar today, we're going to go over optimizing your booking engine for the busy season. So one of the competitive advantages that you all have is that rezStream's online booking engine is extremely flexible and very customizable. I've reviewed dozens and dozens of booking engines in the industry, not saying that ours is the best by any means, but we offer a lot of different options. We're very big on that, and being that we've been providing reservation and software booking engine to the small independent lodging industry since early 2000s, we've gotten a lot of feedback over the years. Thank you very much to you guys providing that to us. So we've made a lot of adjustments to our booking engine. So I want to make sure that today I get to show you the power and flexibility with the booking engine with the sole purpose of helping you guys be familiar and know how to customize that solution for your business with the goal of converting as many lookers into bookers as humanly possible. And then also just want to give you some general tips and best practices so that you guys can go make some adjustments as you see fit. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Now, before I kind of jump into everything and get going, I did have a poll question that I wanted to run past you guys. So I'm curious to get your feedback here. So I'm going to push this out to you. And basically the question here, guys, is when was the last time you made a test reservation on your online booking? So when was the last time you actually went to your website, got into your booking engine, went through every single step, and experienced the same exact experience that your guests are going through when they book online? So you've got some options here. Was it within the last 6 months, within the last 12 months? Hey, you know, I've never done that. That's a good idea. Maybe I should. Or, you know, why would I even do that, Josh? What's the purpose of that? So go ahead and fill that out. I'll give you guys a couple seconds here, and then we'll share the results. Okay, so it looks like, this is awesome. So it looks like 42% of you said, I've done this within the last 6 months, 33% said within the last 12 months, 25% of you said never, and nobody doesn't understand the value. So just generally speaking here, you know, understanding exactly what your guests are experiencing on your website is a great way for you to stay in touch with them, so you know what adjustments to make. Also, obviously, asking them is a good thing to do, but I like to experience things myself. I'm a consumer. Yes, you guys have properties, you have a booking engine, we provide booking engines, but I still want to see it and touch it. So as an example, every client that goes live here at rezStream, I'm kind of crazy about this stuff, but I go and I look at that booking engine and I go through every step and I make sure that that thing looks good. And if I've got feedback, I'll reach out to the clients directly and I'll share that feedback. So I think that's a good value add, and it's good for you guys to stay in tune with that. So as, you know, generations are coming and millennials and things of that nature, you know, let's make sure that we're staying in tune with what it is that they're expecting, and let's make sure that we're optimizing these booking engines as best as humanly possible. So from the reservation software, guys, if you're not familiar, we kind of have two different settings, okay? So as it relates today, and we're going through the booking engines, the majority of all of our settings within our navigation over here on the far left-hand side, the majority of all of our settings we're going to cover today here are in this booking engine configuration settings, okay? And so we're going to go through some of these settings today, and I'm going to show you live examples of my test booking engine, which is in a live production environment. And then I'm going to show you where you can come in and control those settings so that you guys are familiar when you leave here today. You feel empowered to make some of these things, some of these changes, if you will. Okay, so let's start off here. This is my fake property, my lovely property. This is my fake booking engine. I say fake because I don't own a property and I'm not taking online bookings like y'all are, but this is a live environment here. So as you all are familiar, rezStream is unique in the sense that we custom theme out our booking engine to match that of your website. So what most people do is you get a header, you get a footer, and basically everything in between is what they dictate. Well, rezStream takes it a step further, and we actually customize all the look and feel throughout this process. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that and your guests are enjoying that. Now, as it relates to calendars, rezStream's booking engine offers some different flavors here, and I want to go through them and make sure you guys understand them and their options, okay? So what you're looking at here, so I'm in the booking engine right now, and what you're looking at here is what we refer to as a 2-month calendar, right? 2 months because you see 2 months at a time, right? Now, this step one is very interactive, as you all are aware, because everyone kind of processes information differently. So you can pick arrival and departure dates by interacting with the calendar here. You can come over here to your arrival departures and you can erase these fields, or you can click on these little calendar options. So very flexible. But what I want you to pay attention to here is that the 2-month calendar, the very first step, starts with pick your arrival and departure dates. And then once you do so, the very next step that you get presented with are the available units. And then you're going through and picking your units, right? So that's how the 2-month calendar works. Now, the next thing I want to show you here is what I refer to as a 2-week calendar. And we call it that because it's literally displaying 2 weeks of availability at a time. Now, just like the other calendar, you can go forward a couple weeks at a time, and you can come in here and you can click in this field and you can get this little tiny calendar, or you can erase these dates and manually type them in. But what's different about the 2-week calendar is you see all my units over here on the left-hand side, right? So here's my 2 weeks of availability, and here are my units on the left-hand side. And I can then interact with this calendar here to pick my arrival and departure dates. Now, this calendar operates a little differently, right? And the reason why is because I'm doing 2 steps at once. I'm picking my unit and I'm picking my dates at the same time, right? Whereas with the 2-month calendar, you start by picking your dates and then you pick your unit and you progress from there, right? So it's a little bit of a different experience, okay? Now, some things to point out here. This 2-week calendar was specifically built for bed and breakfast. And the reason why is the average size of a bed and breakfast in the US is 9 rooms. And the majority of bed and breakfasts, because they are smaller in size, tend to have what we refer to as unique or individual units, right? So unlike a hotel where they have unit types or many of the same kind, examples being I have 20 king bed rooms, I have 10 queen bed rooms. Well, you don't typically see that in a bed and breakfast property, right? So this calendar was in essence created for that specific segment where you get your on average 9 rooms. They're all unique, and we need to see unique availability because I don't have many of the same, okay? So as you guys are setting up booking engines, or you're thinking about the booking engine experience, do you have a small number of rooms that are all unique? Then maybe this 2-week calendar is for you. Now, some exceptions to this would be, let's say you're a bed and breakfast, but you've got 20+ rooms and they are all still unique. My personal preference is I wouldn't want to display a whole bunch of rooms here where I'm having to scroll up and down to see all of those options. The other thing that happens here is you'll see these pictures. You can't really even make them out, right? Unless you're actually hovering over that picture, and then you can see a larger thumbnail of that picture. And the reason why we built it like that is because imagine if you have 20 rooms here and we're loading these large pictures and it's slowing down that whole booking process. statistics are very against slowing down someone's ability to buy. So you can hover over these, you can even click on these and go in and see more pictures of those units. So it still provides the flexibility that the guest is looking for from a visual standpoint, but the way that we load it up is a little bit different. So nonetheless here, guys, you've got some options. You've got the 2-month calendar and you've got the 2-week calendar, okay? Now, before I kind of show you where those settings are at, let me show you one other display option that we offer here. And I'm going to use a customer as an example. So let's say that I've navigated, I'm a guest, I visit this website, and I've navigated down to this classic honeymoon luxury log cabin. So it's a very unique cabin. It's specific to this cabin. Well, the other thing that we offer here, which is unique to our industry, is what's called an individual unit calendar, okay? So if someone doesn't want to just jump into the main booking engine and go through the 2-month option or the 2-week option, let's say that their buying journey navigated down to a very specific unit, their favorite unit, maybe they've stayed there before, or in their experience of your product offerings, they've navigated here. Well, what we want to do when those guys are ready to buy is we want to convert them. We want to collect their money. We want to give them the option that they want in the most convenient path. So we offer this individual unit calendar, and this calendar is specific to this unit, right? So I don't now want to be dumped into the general booking engine where I see all of the unit options and then I have to go find the one that I want. I can now get that right here through this individual unit calendar. And you'll see as I progress through the months here, we'll see what is available and what isn't available. And we can just jump in and skip the whole process of that booking flow when we don't know what option it is that we want. So rezStream has that flexibility within our booking engine solution. So once you guys determine which calendar option is best for your business, the 2-month or the 2-week, my personal advice for those of you that have individual unique units is on every detail page where you're talking just about a specific unit, go ahead and put in these individual unit calendars. So if you guys have a webmaster that handles your website, this is something that they can do. If you don't have one of those or those guys aren't familiar with booking engine installs, reach out to rezStream support team and we can get you in the right direction to get these, okay? So as it relates to where within the reservation booking engine configuration section that we need to go to make these choices, let me take you there. So from the main navigation, we're going to click on the booking engine option here, and then we're going to navigate our way down to the calendar option field. So when I click on this, I now see these particular options. So you'll see I've got the 2-month or the 2-week calendar view, and you'll notice here, we've back to those, flexibility or those options. Here's what we're doing. We're saying, hey, what do you want the default view to be? Do you want people that jump into the booking engine to land on the 2-month or the 2-week option? And then from there, we're saying, hey, do you want to allow guests to switch between views? Okay, so that just comes back to the flexibility of providing the guests the view that they feel most comfortable with to continue that buying journey and ultimately convert them from, a looker into an actual booker, right? So let me turn this off and I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to jump back into my booking engine and I'll refresh it here. And we'll see how that option goes away. So when someone comes into my booking engine, now all I get is the 2-month, and I don't have that little link there to switch back and forth. So ignore this pop-up. I'll cover that later. I didn't want to turn it off because I want to show it to you. But let me go back here into the calendar options again, just so you guys can be familiar with what it looks like. So when I switch that option on, I want them to default at the 2-month, but give them the option to also see the 2-week. As I save that, come back to my booking engine and refresh here. Now you see I've got that little link. So this is what your guests are going to experience. I default to the 2-month, but I have the ability to see the 2-week. So I think that's pretty flexible in terms of giving you guys some options here as far as what you want them to default to and do you want them to be able to switch back and forth, okay? Now, as it relates to the 2-week calendar, you've got some other options here. We defaulted to see 2 weeks at a time, so we consider a full week to be the 7 days. So we defaulted to 14, but you can go ahead and change those if you want to see something different. Now keep in mind that's going to change the experience, right? So just play around with that, make sure it looks good before you just start updating settings and saving them and not double checking them. And then the other option that you have here is, do I want to display rates on my calendar or not? The reason why we built this in is I've worked with some bed and breakfasts who, paranoid isn't the right word, but basically they didn't want their competitors to see their rates right out of the gates, right on their screen, because they didn't want them going and dropping their rates. So we came up with the option of, do you want those rates to display right there, or do you want to show them that later on an invoice before they make that final purchase decision? So those are the options there within the calendar, okay? Now, I want to show you one other thing before I move on here is I want to show you some more flexibility customization options. Now, by default, regardless if you do the 2-month or you do the 2-week calendar, it's very important that our booking engine shows how many steps are in this process, okay? Before we came out with the booking engine, you know, we did a lot of research on not only looking at other booking engines, but industry statistics. And in anywhere when people are making a purchase decision online, they want to know how many steps that they go through before they're completed with that purchase. So if people are booking at work, do I got 32 steps here, or do I got 4 steps here? So it's very important that we outline those and clearly we indicate what step you're on and how many steps you have left. So as an example, at this very first step here where I'm picking dates, I see that it's highlighted. When I progress here into the next step where I'm picking rooms, okay, look, I'm halfway there, right? So that's important. Now, the cool thing about this is you have the ability to control what you want these fields to say, okay? So if you don't want this to say dates and you want this to say selection or choice or whatever you want, you have the ability to control that. If you don't offer rooms and you offer cabins or you offer vacation homes or you offer mopeds or whatever it is that you're offering that you're using the booking engine for, you have the ability to change that. Same with this third step. If you don't even want this step to be in place because you're not offering any package or point of sale items, you can completely remove that step. Or if you're only offering packages, maybe instead of enhancements, you say packages or you say add-ons or whatever it is that you want to do, right? So you've got some flexibility here. So if I go back to our booking engine settings here within our main navigation, and I come down to step customizations, this is where I have the ability to change the names of those fields, okay? You'll also notice this is where that step 3 comes into play, enhancements, as in my example. If you turn these things off, that entire third step disappears, and now you go from having a 4-step booking engine to a 3-step booking engine. But nonetheless here, for whatever reason, if I want to change this to be selection, and I want to change this to go from rooms to cabins, I can do so. As I hit save there, come back to my booking engine and refresh this bad boy, you're going to see now I've controlled those changes here, selections and cabins. So again, guys, going through your booking engine and experiencing what the customer is experiencing is going to help you ensure that we're making a smooth transition all the way along. We're showing the guest what it is our property has to offer. We're customizing it to that experience and our offering to ensure that these guys are continuing their buying journey through each step in the easiest, most convenient way possible to actually get them to make that final decision, right? Okay, now let's move on here and let's look at this second step, which is selecting our room. So let's say here that I've gone ahead and I've picked my dates and I'm moving on to this second step. Let's talk about this second step and what's going on here, okay? So kind of self-explanatory here, we've got the options. So based on the dates that I've entered, the 7th through the 9th, here are the rooms that are available, right? I can clearly see that those are the rooms that are available. I can see the capacity that I can have in that room. I can see a description related to that room. And in some cases, if I've got a longer description, I can click on this more button and it's going to show me that description, right? I've got some rates available. If you offer more than one rate online that people can book, okay, you've got that option. And then I've got my pictures here. And so I can click on various different actions here, as well as any of these kind of links here to kind of get more information or have a better experience, right? So as it relates to the vineyard, if I want to see more photos for this vineyard unit and bigger photos for that matter, I click on that photos button and I can come in here and I can scroll through the pictures of that particular room. I can also see longer description. So we only show so much on the initial landing page. And so if you like to be more detailed with your description, which is always encouraged, they can come in here and see a longer description. So a general best practice here, guys, is that we need to be selling these rooms at all time, right? Our assumption should never be, oh, okay, well, they've gone to my website, they've already read everything that they needed to read about the room, so why am I going to duplicate that information here on the booking engine? Well, the reason behind that is we don't know exactly what their experience was. Maybe they visited our website a week ago or a month ago and they had it bookmarked and now they're ready to move forward, and they come to our website and they jump into the booking engine because they've got their credit card out and they're ready to buy, but they're not seeing a similar description of what they saw before. And so now they're going to exit the booking engine and go back to our website, and we're hoping and praying that they're actually going to come back into the booking engine and continue that buying journey. Let's not take that chance, right? Let's make sure that we have a nice description. It's clear and concise. It's well written, and we're trying to sell that experience, right? Let's not assume the path that they've taken. Let's not assume that they're going to make a buying decision in the booking engine on the same exact website visit. And let's not assume they know exactly the name of the room. We know the names of the room. It's our business, right? We deal with it every single day, but our guests don't know all of our rooms and their names in every situation. So let's not make it harder for them, right? Other things that you'll have options to automatically is the availability of that particular unit. So out here on the vineyard, once I've clicked to learn more, I've got everything related to the vineyard inside here. So now I'm seeing specific individual unit calendars of availability, because maybe during this cycle I've decided that my dates are flexible, or my wife's yelling at me from the other room, no honey, we can't do the 7th through the 9th, remember we got blah blah blah, we need to change it, why don't you look in April or whatever, right? So we want to make sure that that convenience and that buying journey is continuing, okay? So there are some examples of things that happen here. Let me show you something else here. Here's all my units that are, let me see, did I pick the right dates? Let me jump back here. Let me see, today's the 6th, so what if I do the 7th through the 8th only? Let me see what the options are. Maybe I didn't set that up right. Give me one sec, guys. Let me jump back here to the occupancy map. Let me make a couple reservations here. I'm going to do a group just so I can show you an example. I thought I set this up in advance, so bear with me here. I apologize. Okay, so I want to jump back into my booking engine here. Let's use those dates again. Oh, you know what? I may have actually turned that off. That might be what it is. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you. So I'm a guest, I come to your booking engine, these dates work for me, I jump into your booking engine, I see all the units that are available, right? Let's say I'm a repeat guest and I have to have my favorite unit, okay? Well, one of the options we have here at step 2 that I just went and turned on, and I'll show you that again, is rooms with no vacancy. These are the rooms that are not available, okay? The reason why we show these rooms is the example I just described. Maybe I'm a repeat guest. Maybe I'm a new guest and someone, my best friend on Facebook, told me about their favorite room at your property and I absolutely have to have it. So I want to be able to allow the people to get the product that they're interested in hopes that I'm going to convert them in that buying journey that very first time they're in my booking engine. So by displaying rooms that aren't available, I then allow them to check my availability into that individual unit calendar that is specific to that unit, and they can then see that unit's availability. So my demo here, let me see, it's just hanging. Give me a sec. I want you to see this. I want you to see what that experience is like. So units with no vacancy here. I want to stay in the Big Apple. Let me check that availability now. And now I can see when that specific unit is available, because the dates I selected here, it is not available. So I have to have my favorite unit, and by showing them that favorite unit and it's not a vacant, I can then dump them into this booking engine so that they can repick new dates of when that thing is available, and they can continue in that buying journey, okay? Obviously, I got to make the right selections here. But back in the booking engine settings, let me show you where we go through some of those setups. So let's start with the pictures, okay? So within the settings here, within the booking engine settings, if I come into images, most of you should be familiar with this, but if not, this is where we're going to come in, and this is where we're going to be adding images into our booking engine. So the first thing that we do in the upper right-hand corner is we're adding booking engine images, and you have a couple different options here. I can either click in this box here where it's telling me to click, and I can navigate into my computer, my hard drive, wherever your pictures are stored, and I can add them on the fly, or we've got the ability to click and drag where you can drop a whole bunch of photos in here all at a time and then save it, right? And then what happens is you get these pictures in here, and you've got the ability to make some adjustments, whether you want to name them, if you haven't named them already, you want some type of a unit description or an alt description tag, if you will. So this is important for search engines and for ADA compliance reasons. And then you can then save those changes here. And then what you can do, guys, is you can go and you can select your units, and basically you can add over as many pictures as you want or remove those pictures. And you can do that not only for the units themselves, but you can do it for rate plans if you're returning by unit type or by rates, as well as you can add pictures related to packages and point of sale items. So within this images section, this is where you're adding them. This is where you're assigning them, removing them, controlling their descriptions and things of that nature. So as it relates to that second step in the booking process, let's make sure that we have pictures. Let's make sure that those pictures are showing the experience that they're going to get, right? The old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, is absolutely true, especially in today's consumer engagement where our attention spans suck, myself included in that example. I really don't want to read, I want to see. I'm a very visual person, so let's make sure that we've got pictures of the beds, the bathrooms, the view as it appeals to your specific units, and let's make sure that there aren't any questions in that buying journey related to the experience that they're about to purchase, right? So that's pictures, okay? Now, as it relates to descriptions, we got to go to a different section. And the reason for that is our descriptions are tied to our units, and our units are in our configuration section. So within the configuration section, this is where all my units are displayed. And as I enter into those units, this is where I say if I want them to be bookable online or not. And this is where the description of those units come into play that are displaying on the booking engine. So any edits or changes here then need to be saved, and it will automatically update that booking engine for you. So that's where you change the descriptions. And then as it relates to that fancy feature I was showing you of the rooms with no vacancy, back to our booking engine configuration section, and then down into our unit customizations, this little toggle on off button is where we're going to show our units with no vacancy. So I highly recommend that you have this offering for the examples and reasonings I have described. It is something that can capture guests' that are looking for a very specific unit or their favorite unit. Maybe their dates are flexible. Let's give them the option to change it instead of going to the next property in their second favorite option because down the road at your competitor, their favorite unit there is available, right? So this is all about making sure that that guest, when they've got their card out and they're ready to spend money, they continue down that buying cycle, okay? Okay, so that's calendar options, and that's step 2 of the booking engine that we've covered. We're a little over halfway done here, so bear with me here as I continue down this process. So let me jump back here. Let me go through and actually make a reservation on a unit that is available, that I've met the appropriate criteria, and then let me move on and show you this third step here, okay? So as I mentioned, if you don't have anything to add on to your room, that's fine. Don't turn the setting on, and this won't even exist. And after you've picked your unit, it's going to jump you right into that final step, which is the contact and billing information, right? Now, let me tell you why this is important, okay? So for those of you out there that aren't offering any type of add-ons, packages, point-of-sale items, enhancements, whatever you want to call it, here's why this is valuable to you. By offering items, it can increase your total order value, right? So without you having to raise your rates and now look undesirable as it relates to maybe your competition in the guest's eyes, the way for you to increase each individual order value is by adding on some additional items here, right? And so now I don't have to go raise my rates, but now I'm getting an extra 15, 20, $100 on that reservation, okay? So that's one of the first reasons why you do it. The next reason, and in my opinion, the more logical reason that applies to the guest who's actually spending money with you, is you're enhancing their experience, right? You're providing them with some options to increase their happiness, their mood, their overall experience with your brand, your product, your business, that is more likely to get those people to turn into a repeat customer, okay? So on our booking engine, you've got a couple different options. You can add individual one-off items, right? And here are some examples here. Maybe they're practical, maybe they're not as it relates to your business. But think of extras as point-of-sale items, or there is one of them. Think of packages as it's more than one item, so you're packaging things together. So as an example, a romance package includes a dozen roses and a box of chocolates, whereas if they just wanted to buy a box of chocolates, they could get that over here, or if they just wanted a dozen roses, they could get that over here. But when I package items together, I can now sell it for a higher price, right? Because it's part of an experience. So here's a practical example. Let's say you sell a box of chocolates for $10 all year round, and you sell a dozen roses for $20. If you get both of them, the total's $30, right? But in the month of February, when, you know, everyone's focused on love and Valentine's Day and all that fun stuff, if I offer a romance package, now I can get away with adding that onto that stay, and I can sell it for a lot higher value, just like all the flower shops do. Year round, when I buy my wife a dozen roses, it costs me 20 bucks, but if I do it in the month of February, they're gouging me for 50 bucks, right? Because it's supply and demand. Well, you have the opportunity to do the same thing at particular times of high demand, right? So by doing this step or having these offerings, not only are you increasing order value, but again, you're providing a better experience for your guest, right? So I've got a lot of people that I've talked to about this over the 9 years I've been here, and they say, well, I don't want to do it. It's too much work. Okay, well, I hear you. I agree. However, let me see if I can help change your mind. Costco, Sam's, these bigger clubs that offer things in bulk. Let's be looking for things in bulk that we can buy. Maybe we order online, we go pick it up when we do our grocery shopping, and they don't ever expire like flowers. They're not going to die if I don't water them. So what are some things people are coming to do in your area?
Last time I checked, nobody stays in the room 24/7, right? So are they hiking? Are they biking? Can we offer some items related to granola bars or Band-Aids when they get blisters, or sunglasses because they forgot theirs, or Gatorades, or whatever it is, right? Something that I can mark up, I can sell, I can increase my order value and provide a better experience, right? Are you in a beach location and they're going down to the beach? So maybe they need an umbrella. Maybe they need the sunblock again. Maybe they need some snack items, chips, goldfish, fruit, snacks, whatever it is that you're offering, right? So be thinking about this as it relates to the booking engine, the experience, the average order value increasing. This is an important step, okay? Now, as it relates to the booking engine and where these things get set up, we've got the item name, we've got pictures related to that item, and we have a description as it relates to that particular item, right? So where in the software are those things getting set up? Well, if I jump back here into the software, these items are related to package and point of sale items, which is in our normal configuration section. And so the reason why we didn't put them in the booking engine section is because they also apply to non-booking engine items. So this is where they're housed at, okay? So within this configuration section, if I come down here into my rates and taxes area, I've got both point of sale items and packages, okay? So this is where I come in and I make those changes. So as an example, if I come in here and I look at my brownie, this is where I determine if I want to toggle it to be sold on the booking engine, what category it falls under, and what that description is for that item, right? Same thing applies if I come back here to my packages, okay? Come into my romance package and I say, hey, these are the individual unique point of sale items that are a part of this package. Here's the name of the package. Do I want it booked online or not? Yes, no. And what is the description around that? And then save it, okay? So this is where you make your changes. So as an example, best practices and common sense says, I need to have a clear and concise name. I need to have some pictures related to this package, and I need to describe what this package includes. Let's not assume people know. Let's not assume it's self-explanatory. Let's make sure that we're selling this option, okay? So you create all of that here, and then again, where we do our images, everything that's tied to the booking engine related to images is back in here. We upload our image by adding it, right? And then over on this side is where we're going down and we're saying, hey, these are the pictures that are associated to my romance package. Add them over here, remove them back, or whatever it is that you guys are doing, right? This is a part of my packages, okay? So that's step 3 of the booking engine. Packages, descriptions, how they look, best practices, and where we set them up in the actual reservation software. Now, if I jump back into my booking engine, again, ignore that, I'm going to cover it here in a second, but I've now progressed here. I've made my selection, I picked my cabin, I've added my enhancements or not, whatever, right? And now I want to jump into that third or that final step here, our 4th step, our confirmation step. And this is where, you know, this is the point of no return, hopefully, right? This is where we want to capture them. So it's got to be clear and concise and convenient, right? This is where we're getting contact information and billing information. Now, you'll notice here, anything that you see in bold, just like normal forms or any form that you've ever experienced, hopefully, anything that you see in bold is required. Anything that is not bolded is optional, right? So we try and make that very self-explanatory here. So this is the information that you're collecting. And as you guys know, this automatically downloads into the reservation software, automatically gets populated into your custom fields on your letters, your communications, right? We're recapping arrival departure dates, the unit that they've selected, the package or items that they've selected, and a preview example of their invoice they have access to, right? Now, once they're filling out all this information, then they get that payment information, right? So again, required, okay? And then we have some options down here in additional information, okay? So I want to touch on this here. About 2 months ago, whatever it is, I don't remember specifically, we offered the ability for custom fields on the online booking engine, okay? Now, you're going to see some options, not bolded, and then you're going to see bolded required. So as in my example today, I have created a custom field called arrival time. I've said I want that to display on the booking engine, and I demand people to fill that out, right? Well, let me show you a guest experience here, okay? I'm a guest, and I'm going through here, and I'm updating this stuff. 123 Main, and I'm in Denver, and I'm in Colorado, 80210. So I'm going through this. This is all standard stuff. Josh at Gmail. Phone number. So I've got all that stuff, right? Now I got to give you my credit card. And I'm updating all this jazz, right? And I'm entering all this information, okay? And I agree to your terms and conditions, and I'm ready to book. Well, guess what? I forgot to fill out this field because it's important to you as the business, but it doesn't mean shit to me as a consumer, right? And now I'm getting this big red womp womp error, alert, 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 right? So the point that I'm making here is that on this final step, when I've gone through that entire journey, I've got my card out and I'm saying, hey, take my damn money, please. We do not want to throw additional hurdles in here that are not absolutely imperative to this booking cycle. It may be important to you. It may be convenient for you. You may plan your day around it. But what I'm asking you to consider here is do not require something unless it is absolutely mission critical imperative, because the last thing we want to do is throw an error alert, a warning. They're trying to rush through this at work and their boss is walking in. I don't want them to abort this cycle, and neither do you, because it's how you make your money, right? So let's be very aware and let's make some good decisions as it relates to the information that we're asking for and if we're asking them to require that information or not, okay? So let me show you where we set up this stuff, okay? If I jump back to my reservation software and I go back into my booking engine settings, I have a section called custom fields. Pretty self-explanatory, right? When I click into this custom field option, down here is where I'm setting up my custom fields, okay? And you'll notice here's my arrival time. And I have determined that I want to not only show this, but I'm also going to require guests to enter something in this field. And on that example I just did for you, you saw what happens because me as a guest, that's not important to me, although you said it's very important to you, and it threw an error, and maybe I aborted that booking and maybe I did not, right? So you've got some options here. Do I really need to show it at all on the booking engine? Do I show it but allow people to skip that step if they want? So in essence, I'm making it optional. Or do I want to show it and require a guest to enter something? So I'm going to just edit this to show you guys what it looks like. So show but allow guests to skip. If I save it, I come back to my booking engine. I have to go through that cycle again, right? Because you can't edit those things on the fly. So let me do that quickly here. And now we're at that final step, but you'll notice it is now an optional field, right? So again, you have the flexibility to get customized information at your discretion, and you have the ability to say, show it, don't show it, or make it required. So just be mindful of that, right? Okay, so those are some items to think about. Homework assignment, if you would humor me, I'd like you all, even if you've done this recently, to go back through every step of the booking engine and make a test reservation. Guys, here's a little cheat. If you put in a 4 with 15 ones here, you can actually make a test reservation in your booking engine, and it will show you that whole cycle. It'll show you the thank you page. So let me do that. And let me fill this stuff out so I can just kind of show you guys what that looks like. I'm going to use pre-done stuff. Don't forget to put in the state that you're in. You put in that fake card number, fake security code, whatever it is. It can be whatever you want, but use this number, right? So you don't have to actually go through and give them your credit card information. You got to accept the terms and conditions just like a guest does. And then once that booking processes, you're going to see that confirmation. Okay, so you're going to see what that guest sees. You're going to see all that information. Do you have your social options turned on with all of your social information here at that final step, right? And you set this up within the booking engine settings and down here within your social settings. That's where you can set that up as well. Enable it or don't enable it. What information am I showing? How does it look, right? Okay, so that's what it's going to look like, and they can share it and tweet and all that jazz. But go through that experience. Get that automatic confirmation email letter if you're automatically firing that off. So I want you guys to go ahead and see all that experience from start to finish. Don't cut out halfway through, make that booking, okay? So that's a homework assignment if you would, and it's for your own benefit, okay? Last couple things I want to share with you. Within our booking engine configuration settings, we have a step or an option here that's called analytic tracking scripts, okay? Now, this stuff doesn't make sense to me, and if I look at this, I don't understand any of this. So instead of calling myself stupid, I call this nerdy stuff, which in essence is saying I don't understand it. Someone smarter than me needs to do it. But basically what this is, guys, what this tracking script option is it allows you to connect your Google Analytics account or any tracking account that you're utilizing to track visitor behavior on your website, as well as within your booking engine, okay? This is imperative for your business, for you to understand who's coming, how are they navigating my website, how are they navigating my booking engine, how many people come to my website versus how many people get into my booking engine, at what steps of the booking process are they exiting the booking engine and not continuing? Do I need to go look at step 2? Maybe I don't have good enough pictures. Maybe my descriptions suck. Are they exiting at step 3? Maybe they don't want packages and point of sale items. Are they exiting at step 4? Maybe I've got too many custom fields and I'm requiring them to fill them out and people are aborting that, okay? By putting in analytics scripts and tracking all of that information as it relates to the booking engine, it's now telling you a story, right? So instead of making your own assumptions or asking 5 people through the course of 12 months, you've got nonstop data that you can go look at, okay? Now, if you do not have any analytics tracking on your website or in your booking engine and you need help, contact me, please. I will have my team set it up and install it for free, no charge to you. This is imperative to your business, okay? If you have an analytics account, Google Analytics or something else, but like me, all of this stuff is nerdy shit, excuse my language, and it doesn't make sense, you don't understand it like me, no problem, reach out to me and I will have my team do it for free, no charge to you. This is a part of understanding your business and how your guests are experiencing that. So it's very important that you are looking at that data with some type of frequency instead of making blind assumptions or some random surveys to guess in handfuls as opposed to in the thousands or the masses, right? So that's very important. Now, lastly, before I wrap up here, I've got a handout to you. I've never tried this before, but let me see if I can figure out how to push this out to you guys. I think I just did that. And so from here, you should be able to download this handout, look at this handout, save this handout here, okay? If I kind of scroll up here, I've got the ability to download this. This is our definitive guide to a killer booking engine, okay? Yes, rezStream created it. It is not specific to rezStream. This is industry specific. We share it with everyone in the industry. We're trying to share our knowledge, our experience, our clients' feedback, and we walk you through how to have a killer booking engine, how to set it up, policies, promo codes, and the whole life. So in addition to experiencing your booking engine yourself, if you have time, nights, weekends, whatever, please feel free to go through this and help constantly stay educated and bettering yourself, your business for the sake of your customers. I think that's very, very important there, okay? All right, guys. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up today. If you've put any questions in here, I appreciate that. I'll follow up with you directly. As usual, guys, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. Let me jump back in here. Here's my email. directly. Here's my direct phone number. I want to hear it. I want your raw emotions, feedback. How can we make this thing better? What don't you understand? What do you want to get more in depth on? Please reach out to me. Nothing's off limits. We also do a user forum, guys. Here's the link to it. That happens the second Tuesday of every month. Jeff Hebrink does that for us, and it's more interactive, where instead of just listening to Josh talk the whole time, peers are talking, you ask questions. Please feel free to engage in that. I think it's awesome. And then as it relates to the next release that's coming out here, we're currently working on many things, but something that I think might be appealing to those of you that use the OTAs, we're going to be transferring the credit cards down on those reservations right into the software, so you don't have to go out to each of your individual OTA channels and look up that credit card information. So for those of you that are using My Allocator to connect to your OTAs, that is the gateway, if you will, of allowing those credit cards to download into the software. So thank you guys very much for attending today. I hope you got some value out of it. Again, if you have questions, reach out. Please sign up for all of these resources so that you can engage with everyone here, understand the product, get the most value. And as usual, comments, questions, concerns, please do not hesitate. We want to hear everything, no matter how small it is. We want to make this solution the best solution in the industry. So please help us to do that. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.